News 14 Carolina, a Time Warner Cable exclusive. Your news continues on News 14 Carolina. Your news now.
Hello, you're watching News 14 Carolina. Thank you for joining us. I'm Heather Childers. This is the Charlotte area's best source for up-to-the-minute weather, news, and sports. And we'll have your Weather on the Ones forecast for you in just a moment. But first, here's Tim Boyum with our top stories.
After weeks of swirling rumors, a Wachovia merger became reality Monday. Citigroup bought out the Charlotte-based bank in a $2 billion deal. Experts say job cuts are inevitable. We'll take a closer look at how else the acquisition will affect the Queen City. A surprising vote tosses the $700 billion financial bailout plan out the window. The House of Representatives rejected the proposed bill. We'll see how our local representatives voted and why. And it's still a big question for many drivers. Where can I get gas? Many stations are still out of supply, and extremely long lines continue to cause traffic problems. Latest on the fuel situation is coming up.
Those stories and more are coming up, but first our chief meteorologist Jeff Crum joins us to talk about that weather forecast, and certainly feeling more and more fall-like.
Yeah, and we're really going to get a good taste of that as we hit Wednesday and for the rest of the week. So
I think that's good news.
It is. God, I'm so ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside this evening, we've got some clouds overhead, a few high, thin clouds. No precipitation in the zone. Live look from our camera there atop the Dad YMCA. A few spotty showers to the south. I don't expect any of that shower activity is going to work in here this evening. So all in all, not too bad as we prep to head into the overnight time frame. Presently, we've got temperatures kind of running the board here. A lot depends on where we have the cloud cover. A lot depends on where we don't. Cooler 64 degrees there in Statesville, Salisbury, 63 in Concord. Still a little mild, if you will. Monroe, Wadesboro, Rockingham, over towards Shelby, Gastonia. Our high today, 81, 59 degrees. The morning low. There is the smallest of small possibilities for a shower late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. We have a boundary working through, but there's not a lot of moisture for it to work with. Temperatures tonight on the way down will bottom out around 58. High tomorrow around 82. I'll have more weather coming up.
Thanks, Jeff. The financial world is shaken up again, and it's being felt here in Charlotte and throughout North Carolina. Citigroup purchased the retail assets of Wachovia Corporation, and now as thousands of people worry about job security, others fear that the banking deal could cause a negative ripple effect elsewhere in the economy. News 14 Carolina's Brad Broders is live for us outside of Wachovia with more on the aftershocks. Brad?
Well, Heather, between housing, giving, and buying power, Wachovia and its employees pumped a lot into our area economy. Now, with most of that employment likely gone, the area will be feeling the effects in different ways.
Well, there's going to be a lot of Charlotteans that are very concerned about this news.
The news of Wachovia's sale to Citigroup marked a dark Monday for Charlotte's economy. Mayor Pat McCrory acknowledged the effects will be felt throughout the region in the months ahead.
We're going to have to look at our government spending. The charities are going to have to look at how much revenue they typically had come in.
That's especially true for Wachovia beneficiary Habitat for Humanity.
Wachovia has been a great partner to us. Over the years, they've given us over $1 million financially, and so we rely heavily on them for volunteer support.
That support helped build more than 20 homes in recent years, 2 of which are under construction now in West Charlotte. Linda Blum fears the economic unknowns elsewhere could also affect donations later this year.
All the agencies are, concerned about what it means for annual giving. The end of the year is coming up. That's a significant giving time.
Beyond charities, UNC Charlotte professor Tony Plath said the expected Wachovia job losses in Charlotte, which he believed could end up at 3,000, will trickle down hard in other areas.
Vendor relationships are going to be affected, the employment market, the housing market, the condominium market in uptown Charlotte, the housing market in Ballantyne. This will ripple through the Charlotte economy.
Charlotte leaders promised to fight hard through economic incentives and other means to convince Citigroup to keep as many jobs in the Queen City as possible.
These are great jobs, and this is a great corporate citizen in Charlotte that we need to fight to retain as many jobs as possible.
Wachovia being built behind me, area leaders.
cultural arts projects currently under construction next to the new Wachovia Tower are financially safe and will be finished. Wachovia helped fund the project. City leaders say these are public projects and will be completed. The Beckler Museum, a theater, African American Cultural Center, and New Mint Museum of Craft and Design are all currently under construction along South Tryon Street.
Some drivers are filling up their tanks with ease. Others are still fighting the lines. And finding gas in Charlotte and surrounding cities has basically been a scavenger hunt for many drivers, and station owners are wondering when things will be back to normal. Salisbury Bureau reporter Jennifer Moxley has an update.
We are still having, however, a tremendously high demand for the limited supply of fuel that is flowing to the Charlotte market and other markets throughout the Southeast.
Charlotte Mayor Pat McCrory says that's why we're still seeing long lines at the pumps. Some gas came to the area during the weekend, but the demand outpaced the pumps.
This too in time will pass if people calm down, that we will get through this.
About 40 minutes north of Charlotte in Salisbury, things are calmer than Friday. Monday morning there were no lines, no cars, and this station has gas for a reasonable price. But some pumps were still wrapped in plastic bags. Many stations like Pop Shop are limiting how much you can buy.
We are limiting our customers. At one point when we got the load the other day, we were limiting to 10 gallons, and we have now decreased that to 5 because we've heard we're not getting another delivery till this coming weekend.
This Concord gas station is limiting drivers to $40. There were no lines at lunch, a few empty pumps, and this station is on busy Speedway Boulevard. However, if demand doesn't slow down, it could get worse.
Because this process can still continue from a week to another 2 weeks, depending upon what the demand will be.
Only get 5 gallons if you're allowed that, and don't be greedy. You know, only get 5 gallons and go home, and only go to places you have to go.
State leaders say it's going to be 8 to 10 days before the area is back to normal, and the next big shipment is scheduled for Wednesday. From the Salisbury Bureau, Jennifer Moxley, News 14, Carolina.
Many gas stations have been promised more fuel this week, but employees do not expect those shipments to equal their normal deliveries. Back to the drawing board. Members of the House of Representatives voted against the long-negotiated $700 billion plan to bail out the U.S. economy. A White House spokesperson says President Bush is, quote, very disappointed in the vote. A spokesman says the president will meet with advisors to determine what next steps need to be taken. No revote will take place today. Now here's a look at how representatives from North Carolina voted on the bailout package. Bob Etheridge, David Price, Mel Watt, and Brad Miller all voted yes, while G.K. Butterfield, Walter Jones, Virginia Fox, Howard Coble, and Mike McIntyre, Robin Hayes, Sue Myrick, Patrick McHenry, and Heath Schuler all voted against it.
Presidential candidate John McCain says lawmakers must put aside their differences and get a financial bailout bill passed soon. McCain says he helped tweak the proposal last week so it was more taxpayer-friendly and more attractive to members of both parties.
Now is not the time to fix the blame. It's time to fix the problem. I would hope that all our leaders, all of them, can put aside short-term political goals and do what's in the best interest of the American people.
At an afternoon rally in Colorado, Democrat Barack Obama criticized the original bailout plan backed by President Bush. He vowed not to reward Wall Street with a welfare package and said that the plan must help those on Main Street too. Obama and Joe Biden held a rally earlier in Detroit. There, he talked about the financial crisis and attacked John McCain's economic policies.
Coming up on News 14 Carolina, Grandfather Mountain has some new owners. The state of North Carolina bought the park. We'll have the details on why Governor Mike Easley decided to take it over. But coming up next, we'll check your weather in the ones forecast.
Come to the Charlotte Mecklenburg Festival of Safety, Saturday, October 4th at the Arbor Glen Park and Recreation Center on Clanton Road. A fun-filled day of activities, including giveaways, food, and fun for the whole family. News.
Welcome back, everyone. We continue with our Monday evening, first day of the work week beginning to wrap up, and weather-wise turned out to be really nice out there. Temperatures topping out mid to lower side of the 80s. We've had a few clouds around. We'll continue to have a few clouds here through the evening hours. Pollen count for the day today, grasses and molds on the low side. No trees recorded. Weeds, though, back in the high zone. The ragweed cranking big time. 7:18 a.m. our sunrise for Tuesday morning, 7:08 p.m. our sunset. Morning commute, we're looking at probably some sunshine, a few clouds around, cool, and then dry roads, at least for the first part of the day. It looks like it may be the latter part of the day that we pick up perhaps a loose shower or two, but as you look at Stormcast, the cold front that's going to be dropping through, we expect to be relatively starved of moisture, so we're not looking for a big outbreak, I think, by any means, and it's perfectly possible that many folks will go without precipitation at all. Winds will essentially be out of the south-southwest as we get into our Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening. But once that boundary is through, there will be cooler temperatures on the way, and it is really going to feel like fall as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, especially the overnight lows. If you have travel plans, could be some weather-related travel delays, mainly through the Midwest and into the Northeast. Rest of this evening, temperatures mid-side of the 60s towards midnight. A few clouds, slow cooling, comfortable out there. As we head overnight, temperatures lower 60s, mostly clear. Continued cooling, good sleeping going on, and I think in the morning about 58 degrees, sun and clouds, cool morning, the warming kicks in by the afternoon. We're looking at probably 82, maybe 83 degrees or so. Small chance for a shower or storm, and as I've mentioned, warm conditions for us. The extended forecast will show into Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, Thursday mostly sunny, and temperatures will be mid to lower side of the 70s. That's a look at the forecast. We'll have more weather coming up.
Monday night, the Warriors of East Gaston High School played their football game originally scheduled for Friday. And before the players took to the field, the crowd paused for a moment of silence in honor of Travis Mintz and Nick White. The two 16-year-olds were killed in a car accident Friday. The driver, Daniel Rowland, was seriously hurt. Shots rang out in a seemingly quiet neighborhood in South Charlotte, and now one person is dead and another seriously hurt. Police say the shooting happened around midnight in the Stillwater community just off Ray Road. 24-year-old Joel Vasquez died at the scene, and another victim suffered life-threatening injuries. Some neighbors say the shooting has them thinking twice about their security.
I have a security system, and I've been very prone sometimes to go upstairs and go to bed and not turn it on. So absolutely, I'll make sure it's on.
Police have not released any suspect information at this time, but they do think that the victims know each other. Starting Monday, you'll have to pay some more to ride Charlotte Transit buses and light rail. Local bus and Lynx line fares will go up 20 cents to $1.50. Officials say the fare increase is an effect of the rise in fuel cost, which has increased nearly 30% since the beginning of the year. On Monday, CATS will also add some trips to some routes and modify schedules. For a complete list of the changes, log on to our website, news14.com. Just click on story links.
Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools Superintendent Dr. Peter Gorman says he was eager to sign a contract extension. Gorman recently signed an extension through 2012. In today's in-depth interview on News 14 Carolina, he said he and his staff still have a lot of work to do.
We've made a lot of success in the past 2 years, but not as much as we need to do. So we got to keep working hard and provide stability for both myself, but also for the senior staff.
In Tuesday's in-depth interview, Gorman discusses the ongoing debate over how and how much to reduce the magnet program. Tune in for that interview starting at 11 a.m. on News 14 Carolina. It's official, Grandfather Mountain has now joined a long list of parks owned by the state of North Carolina. Governor Mike Easley formally signed a $12 million agreement Monday. News 14 Carolina reporter John L. Johnson has more from Avery County.
With a few strokes of a pen, Governor Easley made a huge purchase.
And y'all, with that, the deal is done here.
Grandfather Mountain now belongs to the state of North Carolina.
You never let a resource like Grandfather Mountain get away. The money's there, and this is going to be a tremendous asset for all of North Carolina for a long, long time.
For $12 million, the state also bought 2,600 acres of wilderness from the Morton family. Craig Morton says the area has not been in danger of development for now, and the sale will keep it that way.
Suddenly you have protection so that Grandfather Mountain would never be developed. There's no threat of that now, but we're not thinking of now. We're trying to think 50, 100 years from now.
During a news conference Monday, dozens of people involved in the deal gathered to talk about the importance of this purchase.
This place
manifests Hugh Morton's consuming desire to preserve the glorious riches of nature and share them with all citizens.
Governor Easley even shared what the mountain means to him, coming here for the first time as a 4-year-old boy, and what it will mean to future generations.
This is just one more step, as Bill put it, in our effort to be one North Carolina naturally.
The Morton family will not give up all ties to Grandfather Mountain. They will continue to run a nonprofit organization that will maintain the mountain as well as continue to do research. On Grandfather Mountain, John L. Johnson, News 14 Carolina.
The Morton family says the sale will allow them to ask for donations and potentially qualify for state and federal funding.
More than 4,000 volunteers will help build the first fully accessible playground in Mecklenburg County. The volunteers will be at the site at Nevin Park all week. A race place was designed by children and it has a NASCAR racing theme. Project leaders say all children, regardless of their abilities, will be able to play here.
A lot more folks maybe use canes, maybe use walkers, maybe use wheelchairs, as they age. And this will give them an opportunity to play with their children, to play with their grandchildren, to actually be able to go on the elements.
Construction of Race Place is supposed to wrap up by this weekend.
Coming up on News 14 Carolina at 25 after.
Carolina Panthers suffered some injuries during their win over Atlanta on Sunday. Will they be updated? We'll tell you about that. Also, NASCAR looks ahead to Talladega after leaving behind Kansas, and it's time for the Charlotte Bobcats to open up training camp. Sports is just ahead.
Plus another check of your weather in the one's forecast. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Come to the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Festival of Safety, Saturday, October 4th at the Marion Deal Recreation Center on Tyvola Road. A fun-filled day of activities, including giveaways, food, and fun for the whole family.
Charlotte, here at Patterson Heating and Air, we understand the many challenges we're all facing with today's economy. We live here too. That's why, for a limited time...
What is the code? Well, I don't know your mother's birthday by heart.
That's why I have Time Warner Cable. Their bills are simple. Let's be honest, it works for me.
Easy. The phone company doesn't get it. Time Warner Cable does.
Make your phone bill simpler and less expensive with digital phone from Time Warner Cable.
The one for you, News 14 Carolina. Convenient, in-depth, and continuous. North Carolina's local news network. News 14 Carolina. Only on Time Warner Cable.
Welcome back, good friends. We continue on this Monday evening here through the southern Piedmont. Not a bad day today weather-wise. We had a lot of sunshine, temperatures reaching the mid to lower side of the 80s. The official high this day, 81 degrees. A cold front, though, expected to arrive as we head into our Tuesday late afternoon and evening, and it looks like it could be moisture-starved, so we're not really looking for a big outbreak of precipitation. Cooler temperatures for midweek and beyond. As a matter of fact, some overnight lows expected probably mid-side of the 40s, and a dry weather pattern looks to be in play at least for the next 7 to 10 days once we get beyond Tuesday and the boundary dropping through. There's that high today, 59 degrees to low. Typical high this time of year around 78, and way back in 1941 we set a record high of 93. Nothing in the rain bucket, but for the month and for the year we have small surpluses still in place, and that's some good news. And along the Catawba River chain, very healthy conditions for Lake Norman, Mount Island, and Lake Wiley. Things are looking pretty good for now. Okay, our sunrise for our Tuesday morning at 7:18 a.m., our sunset around 7:08 p.m. Tropical update time, as we always do, at 21 and 51 past the hour. Through the Gulf of Mexico, the Caribbean, the Bahamas. Not much really going on out there. Of course, Kyle, long gone and done. Never was an issue for us, but there's Laura that is out in the Atlantic, and Laura not expected to be an issue for anyone. It's what we like to refer to as a fish storm. She'll continue to head essentially to the north and then more of a northeasterly turn where she should begin to fall apart into the colder waters of the northern Atlantic. Back here at home for us, big area of low pressure up over the Great Lakes, helping to really bring us this boundary that will work across our area tomorrow afternoon, and behind that could get a shower, maybe a loose isolated thunderstorm, but the prospects really do not look good for any significant outbreak of precipitation. As a matter of fact, I think isolated to widely scattered is about the best we're going to see in terms of opportunity. Winds will be out of the south-southwest, and we don't look for them to be overly breezy, but that's going to allow those temperatures for Tuesday afternoon to get back into the mid to lower side of the 80s. A few clouds here this evening, very slow cooling, comfortable winds north-northeast, about 5 miles an hour. We'll look for about 66, 67 degrees or so right around midnight. Overnight, mostly clear, continued cooling, good sleeping going on. And I think in the morning about 58 degrees. Now, a lot depends on the cloud cover. If we have more cloud cover than maybe just the lower side of the 60s, but we're going to shoot for 58. Cool morning out there. Warming will kick in, and by the afternoon, we're looking at about 82 degrees. Small chance for a shower or storm late into the afternoon and evening hours, and, well, warmer temperatures than what we're used to for this time of the year. But look beyond Tuesday. We're talking cooler temperatures for daytime highs, and look at those overnight lows into the mid-side of the 40s, but also notice dry, dry, dry is the word. We'll have more weather coming up.
The co-owner of the Carolina Hurricanes has passed away. Thomas Thews died yesterday morning after battling leukemia for 2 years. In addition to the Canes, Thews co-owned the NHL's Ontario Plymouth Whalers and the ECHL's Florida Everblades. Thews leaves behind his wife, 6 children, and 20 grandchildren. Funeral services will be held in Michigan. He was 76 years old.
This is a News 14 Carolina Sports Update.
Carolina Panthers head coach John Fox did not provide medical updates at his Monday afternoon press conference. These medical updates concerning several Panther players who were banged up during the Panthers' win over Atlanta on Sunday. The most severe and perhaps the scariest happened in the first quarter to left tackle Jordan Gross. Gross, number 69 on the edge of the offensive line, was blocking on this running play when he went down and was accidentally kneed in the head by Falcons linebacker Michael Boley. Gross lay motionless on the turf and was unconscious. He was deemed to have a concussion by Panthers medical staff, and one that renders a person unconscious is generally regarded as a grade 3 concussion or the most serious kind. Head coach Fox hasn't ruled Gross out for Sunday's game against Kansas City just yet.
I don't really think there's hard and fast rules on really any injuries, and particularly head injuries. You know, we just rely on what the doctors say. They get evaluated. They're way further along in evaluating that than they were, say, 15 years ago. They being the doctors. So, you know, we just rely on what the medical people say and go from there.
Sprint Cup Series has its 3rd points leader in as many weeks since the beginning of the chase. Kyle Busch led to start off the chase. Carl Edwards moved into the top spot, but after the Camping World RV 400 in Kansas on Sunday, Jimmy Johnson has emerged as your leader. Johnson picked up his first chase victory of these playoffs, and now he could begin thinking three-peat if he wanted to.
I'm not thinking about it yet. At some point, it will hit me like a lead balloon. But as of now, you know, I don't even know what the point spread is over Carl. But I think with 2-3 to go, that's when you really start worrying about your position and protecting. Right now, we're all just running as hard as we can and paying attention to who has bad luck and how the points gaps develop from there.
Charlotte Bobcats held their pre-training camp media day session Monday. The annual Meet the Press gives the players a chance to clown around for pictures, but it also gives them a chance to share their thoughts about the upcoming season, or in the case of Jason Richardson, his thoughts on training camp, which begins Tuesday morning in Wilmington, the first under new head coach Larry Brown.
I'm hopeful that this year is a little bit nervous time because you never know with Coach Brown. I mean, you hear the horror stories of, you know, there's training camps and stuff like that, but at the same time, it's excitement because I'm very excited what he's going to do to this team. I always felt like we was a good team with the guys we have. I mean, you know, now having Adam and Sean back healthy just made us that much better.
Much more from the Panthers and the Bobcats, a look around the ACC football landscape, and much more, all on Sports Night at 10.
This has been a News 14 Carolina Sports Update. Sports fans, News 14 Carolina is the one for you. Sports updates and Sports Night, 30 minutes live at 10. Get more sports with News 14 Carolina, only on Time Warner Cable.